Hi, I'm Patricia Baird Clark, and this is part 3 on my series Satanic Ritual Abuse, Magic Surgery, and the Structure of the Inner World. In part 1, I talked about the soul and how it can be broken into many pieces, many alternate personalities through dissociation and torture, and that demons are summoned by the cult to control each one of these personality parts. In part 2, I talked about the separation of the soul and the spirit, and also the awakening of the spiritual body that puts a person who's abused in this way into a realm of spirit that the rest of us don't know anything about. And in this part 3, I'm going to talk about magic surgery. Once the person has had the separation of soul and spirit and the awakening of the spiritual body, they are in a different dimension where the spirit realm is very real to them, probably as real to them as the natural world is to us. And there are many alternate personalities and many demons inside that the cult wants to put somewhere. And so they put various structures in the person through magic surgery. Anything in the natural world can be placed into the inner world through magic surgery, which is not really surgery, it's trickery. The way it works is that someone is shown an object that the cult wants her to believe is in her inner world, usually something that controls her in some way, and they make her feel that she's being operated on. They put her lay her out on a gurney and have people in operating garb all around her, and scalpels and all the things you'd see in an honest to goodness operating room. And they show her the object and they say, we're going to operate on you, we're putting this in you, and it'll be there forever. And so they may actually cut her, usually down the middle, but not deeply, but there'll be blood and pain. And she has been hypnotized and or drugged, and so she really believes that this object has been placed in her, and it's part of her inner world that will be there forever. A very common object that is used in this way would be a castle. Little children are often taken to Europe, where they are shown these huge castles. One particular castle will be chosen for the child, where she sees it from the outside, and she's taken inside and shown all the rooms and dungeons and tunnels and hallways and all the parts of the castle she is shown, and she's probably abused in a lot of those places. And then the cult makes a tiny replica of the castle that shows all the rooms inside and the tunnels and passageways, dungeons and all. And the child has to memorize this. As she looks at the replica, memorize what it looks like on the outside, what it looks like on the inside. And then she is subjected to magic surgery, and she's told that this castle is being put inside of her. And she goes through the magic surgery then and believes that this is inside of her. And the cult then, in subsequent rituals, when alternate personalities are formed, can assign those personalities various rooms in the castle, which is where they are to remain. And they are guarded by demons, and outside the doorways of many of these rooms are booby traps. So the person that is shut away in the castle or in this particular room knows that she cannot leave, because if she does, she's going to step on a booby trap and she'll be killed or terribly injured, and so she cannot leave. A very common item used for booby traps is a landmine or a bomb. I remember one lady, she came to my office after work, and I thought she looked really thirsty. So before I began to minister, I said, "You look very thirsty. You look like you need a drink of water." She says, "Oh no, don't give me any water. No, I'm not going to drink water. No." I said, "Well, have you had anything to drink today?" She said, "No." I said, "Well, you really need a glass of water. Let me go get you one. She says, no, I won't drink it. Well, I went and got her a glass of water. I came back. I said, I won't make you drink it, but just tell me, why is it you can't drink a glass of water? She said, well, there's a bomb right outside my door. And if I drink water, the bomb is going to go off. It'll kill you and me. And I just can't drink anything. I said, well, that's really no problem. I'll just ask Jesus to come and he'll remove the bomb. She says, oh, no, I don't want to blow Jesus up. No, don't ask Jesus to come. I said, look, Jesus is Almighty God. It's all right. He's not going to be destroyed by any bomb, and that bomb's not going to go off when we ask him to come. So I asked Jesus to come, and he disarmed the bomb, and he removed the bomb. And the lady was so incredibly relieved. And then she was able to drink water. I think she chug-a-lugged about 2 full glasses of water because she had not had anything to drink that day. Now, if someone did not know about this sort of thing with satanic ritual abuse, she would not have had anything to drink. She would not have done it. So she might have wound up in the hospital, sick with dehydration or something. Now this woman told me that years before I had come to her church, that some well-meaning church people had tried to help her. They did not know that she was satanically ritually abused. She didn't know it either, and they were trying to cast demons out of her to help her. And at some point they crossed over some line, and a bomb went off. Now she had been lying on the floor, and there had been 2 men holding her down. At that point it took 4 men to hold her down. She was trying to get up and kill the people in the room, and then she wanted to run outside in front of traffic. So clearly that bomb was meant to stop all progress in any kind of ministry that she would receive. So how wonderful it is to know that all we have to do is ask Jesus to come, and he can take care of whatever there is like that. So in the castle there are booby traps. It could be anything like you would see in a Harrison Ford Indiana Jones movie. It could be a deep pit with swords sticking straight up in it, or some kind of thing where you step in a noose and it slings arrows at you, something like that, you know. But anything like that can be in there. Now, also in the castle are the dungeons. Now, the dungeons are where the cult puts altars that they don't want. You see, when a child goes through ritual, she'll be told to do something that she can't do, like eat a piece of raw flesh, or eat a heart, a raw heart, or drink blood, or kill her pet, something horrendous that she just absolutely cannot do. But she has no choice. They won't stop until she does what they want. So she'll switch, and she'll switch, and she'll switch. Many times, 3, 4, 5 is usually all I encounter in that kind of situation. But the weaker demons, the weaker altars split away, and eventually the cult winds up with a strong altar who can do what they want her to do, who is more likely to agree with them. And so they don't want all the altars that split off in the process to get the one they wanted, which they will name and give her an assignment. So all of the altars that split off that they don't want are assigned to the dungeon. So there can be large groups of personality fragments, personality parts that are locked away in dungeons that'll be there until somebody comes along, some Christian, to help this person who knows that that sort of thing is there, and that Jesus can come and bring them all out. He doesn't have to bring them all out one by one either. He can bring them out in a group. Also in the castle are torture rooms. If alternate personalities are not cooperative with what the cult wants, if they start talking, for example, to their minister or their counselor, then the cult will signal demons to go up and get these cooperative altars and take them down to the torture rooms and torture them. And so in the inner world where this goes on, the person in whom they live feels pain. And plus certain alternate personalities that had been talking to us suddenly disappear. and they've been taken to the torture rooms. So this is something that the cult uses for control. Now, some of the common items that will be inside a person who's been abused will be things that are used for communication. They'll turn up somewhere in a memory or some kind of programming scheme where there'll be a telephone, tape recorder, DVD player, alarm clock. An alarm clock would be there to wake her up whenever she starts to fall asleep. Mazes that different alternate personalities get lost in the maze and can't find their way out. Any kind of device used for communication, because the cult, from a distance, when the person is in their own home, can control them by sending a demon to activate a demon in her who will use a magic surgery device to contact her, like a telephone ringing or a message on a cell phone that was implanted or something like that. So anything in the natural world can be put into the inner world through magic surgery. Now the castle that's placed in there is not just floating around inside. It has a specific structure that it is put onto, and that's what I will discuss in the next segment.